Friends in the mirror. I want to bring you in here just for a few minutes, a real quick. Well, let me show you this whole painting first. Okay, so this is a wedding painting that I did live last Saturday. As I speak here, it's Tuesday evening. This is a painting I did last Saturday down in Charleston, South Carolina. Now I'll zoom in. And I've done this before, but I want to review it for you again. Several things. Number one, the biggest challenge. Let me go ahead and get my face in here. Hello, Heather. The biggest challenge when it comes to doing portraiture of any kind is what I call face blindness or portrait blindness. I don't know anybody that this doesn't affect. The better you get at portraits, of course, the less it affects you, but it affects still almost everybody. Let me define my terms for you. What I mean by portrait blindness is that after a pretty short time, 15, 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes of working on a portrait, after working on it for that long, you become blind to what's really in front of you. It's like the image you're painting becomes so etched in your brain that you can no longer see your mistakes. Most of us experience this fairly early in life because we'll be working on a portrait and then we'll go to bed. We'll take a break and we'll get up the next day. Have you ever had this experience? You get up the next day and look at your painting and you go, eek! What was I thinking? Okay, now if I'm talking to artists, I think probably everybody that's tried portraiture has had that experience. What happened? Well, what happened is you worked on your portrait the day before until you were blind. And maybe you kept working, maybe for quite a long time. But then you went to bed and your brain sorted some things out, dumped some trash, restored and so on and so forth. And basically when you came back the next day, you came back not blind anymore and you saw what was really there. And you were able to, and you went eek, because you were able to see your mistakes. Now, there are several different ways to alleviate or get away from portrait blindness. One is sleep on it. Number two is use a mirror. And if you are a portrait painter, in fact, that's part of the reason why I have a mirror in my office, is so I can hold up my portrait and see both it and the photograph in the mirror at the same time. If you do portraiture and you don't use a mirror, you're probably making disasters and you don't know it. Let me say that again, because I really don't like to see people make disasters. If you're working on portraits and you don't use a mirror as a regular matter of course, you're probably screwing up. Now, it just so happens in this high-tech world we live in, everybody has a phone. Almost everybody has a phone. And your phone can work as a mirror as well. So here's what I want to show you is a technique. I've been using my phone now for several years when I'm doing portraits to help overcome this problem that I call portrait blindness. Just a little while ago, I'll turn you back around now. Just a little while ago, before I started this broadcast, by the way, my client everybody seemed absolutely thrilled with the painting, and I'm generally quite happy with it. But since I had the luxury, I don't usually bring my wedding portraits home, my wedding paintings home, but this time I did. Long story, won't go into it. Since I have the luxury of looking at it for a second day and it's all dry, this is the first time I've tested it actually. Yeah, it is all dry. It's not cured, if you know what I mean. It's not cured, I can tell. There's a slight softness to the paint, but it's dry to the touch. Okay, so before I started this video, I took a photograph with my phone, because it has a good camera in it. I took a picture of this bride's face. Ready? And then in an phone app called Collage Maker, I think it is. Doesn't matter, there's dozens of them out there. I took the photograph I just took of the bride's painting and the photograph. By the way, let me show you why I had probably a hard time capturing a likeness. My camera is not out of focus. That's how low the resolution was on my photograph. Not a very good photograph. So that's part of the reason I had challenge. Anyway, so there's where I started. I put these two in, again, in this app called Photo Collage Maker or something. I put there and there, and you can adjust them so they're the same size. And then here's the important part. I took these same two and flopped them around mirror image, facing the wrong way. This is a mirror image, so that means I can see my mistakes here much more easily. So now I'm comparing this with this. And I want to make a few adjustments. In fact, I'm actually going to use a pencil. Plain old-fashioned pencil to make some marks here. I want her top lip to curl up at the end ever so slightly. Little whoop up. I need to make her mouth slightly closed slightly, so I'm using these pencil marks to remind me. I need to cut this part of her chin and her bottom lip and chin back shorter. See, I can see these differences. I couldn't see them so well down here. Now I can see them quite well. Okay, and then her chin, she's a beautiful young lady, but her nice prominent chin, and I think her neckline is okay. Now up here, yeah, I need to shave off a tiny bit of red there. I want to cut off a little bit of that, and I believe that's all. Let me look at her nose. I think her nose is okay. I think her eye is okay. Her forehead, no. Forehead, a little bit more of an overhang notch right there. And then carve in slightly. So I've got these are slight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 changes. Now, I've marked them here. Now I'm going to take a minute to mark them all here. Again, I can look at the photograph the right way, and let's see if I can still see them all. Lip up here, mouth's closed slightly, bottom lip and chin cut in there, and this little bit of her mouth cut off right there. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Depending how you count it. Okay, good enough. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me. This is going to be cheating, by the way. This is going to be tongue painting at its most egregious. Tongue painting at its worst. Where I'm going to grab a little tiny, Winsor Newton Series 7, number 0 brush, tiny little brush, and change this painting. I think that's the only way you can do it. I don't know how to do this the way John Singer Sargent would do it with a brush this big. That's an exaggeration. But when you're as good as I am or as bad as I am, whichever way you want to look at it, these are the kind of things you have to revert to. But you can do this trick. You can do this too. And I invite you to join me in doing that. By the way, this is one of the tricks that will be in my book, Chapter I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, Chapter 9. Chapter 9 will be about similitude, drawing so that stuff looks like stuff. And I'll be working on that for months to come, and pretty soon here you'll be able to start pre-ordering parts of that book as it becomes available. Hope that's helpful. Hope it's instructive and slightly entertaining. There's no football on tonight, so you got to watch something. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.